Alright, what's up everyone? Welcome back. We got another video today. This time we are refocusing on the BRZ. We haven't given it much love in the past few videos, so we're coming back to it. In a few weeks, we are taking the GRD6 back to Sebring for another weekend, another 2 track days. And we are upgrading the brakes on it and the brake fluid, but it hasn't gotten here yet. So while we wait for that stuff to come in, we're gonna come back and work on the BRZ, because my goal was to get this car running by the end of the year. So to do that, we gotta get this engine out. So in part 1 and 2, we took most of the major components out. We took the whole front end of the car out. But we still got a few things left to do. And I got a list here. So, you know, we still got wiring to do. We got the exhaust to take out. We have to disconnect the transmission because I don't want to take the whole transmission out. I think we're just going to be taking the engine out. So we got to disconnect that. Starter, you know, fuel, and I think that's about it. Engine mounts and things like that. Miscellaneous stuff. So we still got a few things to do. We're probably going to break this into 2 separate videos just because of the amount of stuff that we have to get done. But we are close. We are very close to taking this engine out and then diagnosing it. Once we take it out, then we will take it apart and see if the heads are still good. If the heads are still good, we're gonna replace the bottom end with a new one from Subaru. It's not very expensive. If the heads are also done and the entire engine is gone, then we will probably do some kind of engine swap. Might not be done this year, but at least we'll know what's good and what's not good, and kind of have a game plan after we figure out what is broken with this car. All right, so the first thing we're gonna tackle in this video is the engine ECU. So basically the fuel, I think it's called an injector driver, a fuel ECU basically. Let me bring you guys over so you guys can see what I'm talking about. All right, so if we take a look, let me brighten this up a little bit. If we take a look right here, we have this this module, this computer basically, and we have some connections back here. So to take this out, we have to disconnect all these connections. If you can see there, there's like, I believe 4 different connections, and then there's a few bolts. I think it's 3 bolts to take out, and then this whole piece right here can come out. So that is the first thing we are going to tackle. Because it's honestly not that difficult, and as per Subaru's instructions for taking this engine out, that is the next thing we have to work on. So let's get that done, and then we'll move on to the next thing. Something else you guys may or may not have noticed is we are working with a new camera now. So the old one that I had was great. It was a Sony A6400. And you know, it was amazing for pictures and for video, but it didn't have a very good stabilization. So a lot of my filming would end up being very, I don't know, motionful. This camera that I'm using now has IBIS, so in-body image stabilization, so it should be able to stabilize the footage a little bit better, and I won't have to do that in post, which kind of crops the image a little bit. So we are using a new camera. Hopefully the quality of this camera is a lot better because it is a much nicer camera. So let's get started on the build. All right, so there's a little clip, goes back, and then you can flip this forward, and then it just comes out. So we got 4 of these, took 2 out. Another one, and then there's a big one that's just a regular clip that you push back. All right, those motherfuckers are out. So now we gotta take these out. I think those are like 10s. awkward hand angle. Got it out. That's one. Get another one here. That's how you do it. Boom. Got this bad boy out. Of course, every time we take something out, we label it. So we'll put Injector Driver bolts. Don't mind my chicken scratch. And we're gonna put in our little organization bin. Don't have any more space there. This is multi-leveled, so oops. Let's throw it up in here. Small bolt, so I'll just put it in there. And throw that label right in there. Boom. Done. Close this bad boy back up. Alright, on to the next thing. We got engine wire. Let's get all the engine wiring out of here. Alright, so this is going to be hard to see, but if we take a look back here, this is the main engine harness. So we got this big thing, and then we got this connector here. I believe that's it. After we disconnect these, we can remove them from the bracket, and then just kind of move all of this, like move this clamp and stuff, all of this out of the way. You can maybe just like either tape it or zip tie it maybe up to this harness here, just to get it out of the way so that when the engine slides out, it's not kind of hooked onto anything here or anything. So let's go ahead and disconnect all this. Let me see if I can get you a good angle of that. It's kind of difficult because of the location of it, but we'll try. Okay, so you push that down and then this will release. Should be able to pull back. And okay, that's loose. This one also has a little push tab, so you push it and then this should release. Perfect. Oh, there's actually another one down here. There's another small black clip here. There we go. So we got 1, 2, and then this big connector here. That's 3 right there, and then we have these 2 connectors that I think go to the transmission or the starter maybe. Not 1000% sure, but we'll take these out also. So we got 1, 2, 3, and then there's a little cable that goes over here. And then we got that one, and then there's also, I don't know if I can get it to, you can kind of see it there on the side, but there's like brown one. It's in the same location, so you disconnect all that, and then we should be able to move these brackets out the way. Scotty going crazy. There we go. Got those 2 out, and there's a cable here, ground cable that's connected down to the transmission. Take that out. I'm pretty sure that one's a 10 also, so it's not a 10, it's a 12. Alright, now that we've disconnected it, what I'm just gonna do is I'm gonna put the bolt right back in, because this is a transmission piece, like it's on the transmission itself. So if I leave it there, I won't lose it, and the transmission ain't going anywhere anyway, so you just leave that there. Can I just take the whole bracket out? There's 2 bolts, 2 10s. Let me see. Oh, you can. Look at that. Perfect. So we just take the whole, remove the whole bracket and just call it a day. So what I'll do is I'm just gonna grab a zip tie and just zip tie around this thing right here. And I can keep this up here out of the way. We got the engine harness just zip tied up to here to the other engine harness piece. And so all the wiring directly connected to the engine outside is good, other than the 2 oxygen sensors, which actually can stay because the headers are staying. So that should be good. We're gonna get the bolts for the 2 brackets. For the bracket here, the 2 bolts that were on here, label them, put them in the organizer, and then we will move on to the next thing. Got that done. Next thing we have to do is disconnect this vacuum hose from the intake and completely disconnect this hose, remove it from the brake booster, and get it off this engine. This shouldn't be too hard. It's 3 clamps, so there's one here, there's one here, one down here, and then the one up here. There's a bracket here with a 10 mil. So we can just disconnect this one from the intake, disconnect this one from the brake booster, and then unbolt this one bolt here, and then we should be able to just remove this whole hose. All right, so let's get that done. So we just take this, get that out the way. Let's try to wiggle this shit out. It's been on there a while, so it might take some real force. We took a quick intermission to go take a trip out to Harbor Freight to pick up a set of these. Hopefully you can see that. So we have bought some dollies to put under the BRZ so that we can maneuver the car and move it around, especially, you know, having to lift the car and move it and, you know, take the engine out and all that stuff. I think that these dollies are going to help me kind of angle the car in a certain way so that I have more space in the front, and it'll help me with taking the engine out. So we went ahead and we got those. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lift the car up, I'm going to put it on the dollies, remaneuver it, and then the next thing to do is take out this overpipe, which is connected to the exhaust manifold or the headers. So to do that, I got to get under the car, at least in the front side of it, and take it out. So let me put the dollies on the car, move the car out the way, and then we will lift the car up. The car is now on the dolly, and we can move it around. It can be moved, it can adjust, it can lock. So now when I need to work on stuff, I need a little bit more space, or I need to get it off that wall, I can just move it away. So because the exhaust is on that side, I want to be working on that. But yeah, I'm going to lock all the dollies in place. I'm going to put jack stands under the car, jack it up, because obviously dollies are cool, but you can never trust them. It's better to trust something that can keep the car in place. So let's get it done. I don't know if you can see, but the overpipe is right here. The connection to the exhaust manifold or headers or whatever you want to call it. We just have to remove 2 bolts, and then this whole overpipe should come loose, and then we should be able to push it out this way and get it out. So I just gotta see which size those are. 14. I got a nice ratcheting wrench here. I got that fucker out. Took some work, but it's done. Now we just take that second one out, which I left in there just so that it wouldn't fall down when I worked on that one. It's out. And now we can just all right, taking this out is a little bit of a pain because you kind of have to toss it and turn it. There we go. Hey. All right, boys. So as it turns out, you can disconnect the starter from the top. You don't actually have to do it from the bottom. So we can put this car back down onto the dollies, and then we can work on the starter. The only other thing that I'm going to do is the heater hose. So there's this heater hose right down here that's still connected to the engine. We're just going to take that one out, and the top one has already been removed. So yeah, I'm going to put the car back down, and then we will work on the heater hose and then the starter. So let's get to work. That's out the way. There it goes. Got the lower rad hose out. I think the heater lines are these two, I'm pretty sure. But let me verify that real quick. And then we have the starter right here actually, which shouldn't be too hard to disconnect, especially since we already took this and got this out the way. There's 2 bolts, which I'll show you after, once we get to that, but let's get these things done first. So I was right, it is these 2 hoses. It looks like there's a connection right down here, and then something similar for this one. So it just says to disconnect them. I'm just gonna remove them completely because it's just gonna make my life easier. Or at least I think so. This one out first. Okay, there's that. Oh, there's a little plastic clip holding the 2 together. Move that out the way. Maybe I can kind of twist this. There we go. Fuck. Took some work. Got that shit out. Again, it's clipped down there. And then just a connection to a hose. Go. There we go. Sliding out. Boom. Alright, so for the starter, you can see the starter assembly right here. There is a nut right, or a bolt right there. There's another bolt, like kind of down here. I'm touching it with my finger. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's another one down there. And then there's electrical connections. You can see that. There's kind of like a, I want to say it's like a ground wire, but I can't say for sure. Right here where my finger's touching. And then this is a connection that goes into a bolt. But what we can do is we can disconnect this one. We can disconnect the bolts, pull the starter out, and then take this out once it's like over here so that it's easier to get out instead of trying to finesse getting something in there. So let's start working on that. There we go. There's one, and then we got this top one here. There we go. Damn. And that's the little bolt that you gotta get out. 12 again. And there's a little crush washer here. And then this comes right out. There we go. We got the starter out. It's looking nasty. But it looks like it still works, so. Yep. All right. Now that that's done, I think I'm gonna call it a day. All right, let's put the car back into its spot. All right, boys, we are closing out today's video. We have finished with the BRZ. We got the 86 back in the garage. And yeah, we are one step closer to taking this engine out. I think next video we will have the last step before taking the engine out. And then after that, it's just actually taking it out. So getting a hoist and you know, pulling the engine outward and doing that whole process. But very exciting. We are almost there. And I'm excited to see what's wrong with BRZ so that we can finally either fix this engine or get a new one. So that is very exciting. In the next video, I'm probably going to be changing the brakes on the 86 because hopefully we'll have the pads by then. I won't tell you what pads they are until the next video, so you'll have to tune into that. And we are also swapping out all the brake fluid to something that is capable for the track. So yeah, we're going to be doing that. And then we got track days coming up. I think in about 3 weeks, I have my next 2 track days, my next track event. So of course, I'll take you guys through there. I appreciate you guys so much for watching as always. If you liked this video, please go ahead and hit that like button. And if you like my content overall, please consider subscribing. If you have any questions about what I did in this video, please drop a comment and I will answer to the best of my ability. I do have a sheet that I use, and you guys have probably seen in the video, that I downloaded that has the manufacturer's specifications as to how to remove this and the steps taken. So, you know, if you guys need that, I can send over that link as well. So, yeah, appreciate you guys as always, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.